Oh, here we go. Here we go. More on this Hantavirus. Y'all seen the title. Come on, play. Play.
Passengers are heading home today from the Hantavirus-hit cruise ship, now anchored off Tenerife in Spain's Canary Islands. Officials say none of the nearly 150 people on the MV Hantavirus are showing symptoms of the virus, which has killed 3 people, but teams from the CDC are on site to meet these disembarked Americans.
I did hear that it takes 1 or 2 weeks to incubate. I'm not sure how long they've actually been on the boat, so, you know.
And they're also expected to usher them to Nebraska's National Quarantine Unit, but that is reportedly not being required. For more, let's bring in the acting director of the Department of Epidemic and Pandemic Threat Management at the World Health Organization.
I feel like I'm going to keep seeing her a lot. Her face is becoming familiar.
Maria Van Kerkhove. Thank you so much, Maria, for being with us. Really appreciate it this morning.
Thanks so much for having me.
So we have seen these videos of protests in Tenerife. People are fearful about a deadly disease coming to their shores.
Oh, I didn't know people were
The head of the World
protesting.
Health Organization posted a long letter to X trying to quell concerns, writing, Spain's authorities have prepared a careful step-by-step plan. Passengers will be ferried ashore at the industrial port of Granadilla, far from residential areas, in sealed guarded vehicles through a completely cordoned off corridor and repatriated directly to their home countries. You will not encounter them. Your families will not encounter them. But how many countries are these passengers going to?
That does sound safer.
And how confident are you that the virus is not going to spread once they're back in their homes?
So thanks very much for doing this update. And indeed, our Director General is actually on the ground right now overseeing the operations. And it is a careful step-by-step operation of moving the passengers and the crew from the ship to shore through buses in a cordoned off way to repatriation flights. We currently have 23 countries that have nationalities on board, either through passengers or crew. Right now, we're working with the Spanish authorities from the Netherlands and these countries on the repatriation flights. The flight started this morning, or the operation started this morning at 7:30 local time, and will continue to about 7:30, 8 o'clock tonight, and then continue tomorrow. And so far, we have flights that have gone to Spain, to France, to Canada, and the Netherlands in progress. I'm checking my notes because this is almost in real time. And we have flights planned today for Ireland.
By the way, if you are concerned about your health or just want to get healthier, this helps keep me nice and healthy. And I absolutely was, I actually was on a juice fast when I first got COVID. And it was just a long runny nose. That's all that I had for like a day and a half. I was like a lot of sneezing, and it's like a real, like runnier than normal type of thing. And that was it. After the juice fast, of course, when I got it, and I got it hard. Oh my God. You know what I'm saying? So when I was on the juice fast, I was actually drinking my elixir, which is known as the lemon ginger blast. You can look it up. I will post at the end of this video. It'll pop up so that you can watch it. There are different ways to make it. People have different formulas. This is the particular one that I've adopted. So I'm not the creator of it, but I've adopted it. So I love it. It's antifungal, antiviral, antibacterial, very high vibration drink. It also is extremely nutritional. It's anti-inflammatory. It's
Kia, UK, Ireland, and the US. That might change, so please bear with us as operations on the ground. It's in a live situation, but this is a very different virus than COVID. It's not COVID. The passengers and the crew on board will be wearing respirators as they leave. There's a medical assessment that is being done on board before they disembark from the ship. They will be transported separately and directly to these repatriation flights. These are not commercial flights where they will go back to their home countries, and they will have an active follow-up period once they reach their home countries.
So let's talk about that piece for a moment, because the repatriated Americans are going to Nebraska. It is home to the the only federally funded quarantine facility in the United States. But according to ABC News, it does not sound like U.S. officials are going to require any use of that center there. They're telling reporters this on a call, according to ABC. "We're not quarantining anybody," a CDC official told reporters on a call Saturday. When asked if passengers will be tested, a CDC official said it is not recommended to test people that do not have symptoms. Is this the plan that U.S. health officials have communicated?
Oh, people are going to have a problem with that. And you're not quarantining people?
To the World Health Organization? Have they told you this is what's going to happen? And is this consistent with recommendations that you guys have?
Well, yes. I mean, let me tell you what our recommendations are. And what I do want to point out is that we are working with CDC officials, and we're working with many different countries that are actually involved in this, requiring a multi-country response because we want to make sure that we prevent any further spread. Our recommendations are, we're considering everyone on board, the crew and the passengers, as high-risk contacts because there are current investigations that are really trying to understand what types of exposures each of them had. And because there's so much uncertainty at the moment, we've recommended that everybody be considered a high-risk contact. Our recommendations are that everyone who goes back to their home country is followed up with active follow-up for 42 days. This would include checks, health checks by authorities, and either be quarantined at home or quarantined in a medical facility.
Okay, so this report goes on to say that the CDC is sending passengers home to monitor from there. It's unclear from what we're trying to gather if that transportation would be private. It sounds like that is a concern, obviously, for spread. But in the meantime, President Trump was asked if they
was being dropped off in China, the whole boat, every single person on there would have been quarantined on a small island off the shore of mainland China and surrounded and until nobody tests. I know that's what they would have did.
Given all of this, the U.S. is reconsidering rejoining the World Health Organization. Here's what he told reporters.
Would you travel to Moscow, Mr. President?
Consider leaving the World Health Organization because of the outbreak of Hantavirus?
No, we seem to have things under very good control. They know that virus very well. It's been around a long time. Not easily transferable, unlike COVID. But we'll see. We're studying it very closely. We have very good people studying it very closely.
So an NBC report raises the concern that potentially not being a member state would result in a delay of advanced data that would typically go to member states. That same report does note that the World Health Organization is working, hand in glove with U.S. officials. But what can you say about whether there is any delay in exchanging information, and is the U.S. at all at risk of not getting it early enough?
Well, we do hope that the U.S. does reconsider and remain as a member state of the World Health Organization because the viruses that we deal with, Hantavirus included, they don't respect borders, they don't care about our politics, and information saves lives. So what we do through using the international health regulations is share information immediately once we know about it. And that's what happened in this case. We learned about these first cases. We learned about the link with the cruise ship. There's an incredible amount of expertise coming together, particularly dealing with the Andes virus, which is one of the hantaviruses associated in this case here. We're actually working with Argentina and Chile, as well as the U.S. and many European countries to share that information. And I think this is what is really important about what we call multilateralism, which just means we all work together, because we need the best minds together, including the best minds from the U.S. CDC, to work with us to tackle these challenging problems. Sometimes there could be a delay in information that's shared, but I do also want to say, while I have the floor here, is that the University of Nebraska, this center that you mentioned, is a GORN member, the Global Outbreak Alert and Response System. This is the WHO network that has been in operation for more than 25 years, and it's actually been a GORN member since 2018. So we will continue to work with everyone everywhere because our goal is to keep people safe. That includes everyone everywhere, including Americans.
just to clarify, you say there could be a delay, but is the World Health Organization giving information, in real time to the United States, even while they're not?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. That was the answer I was
Yes,
looking for.
absolutely. So as our goal is to share information that saves lives. We're doing regular risk assessments and we're sharing that information in real time so that countries can update what they actually want to do. We make recommendations and governments decide what they want to do in terms of policies. So that information is being shared through the international health regulations. The United States still participates in that, which is really critical, again, to tackle the problems that we have, put the risk in context. And I do want to say here, I know there's a lot of news about this and people may be scared, but this is not COVID. It's a very, very different virus. The risk to the general public, the risk to Americans is very low. Everyone who is trying.
Okay. Then we should not have another pandemic. If it's very low, we shouldn't have no. Okay, so everybody should be cool. Let's continue.
Back from the ship will be done in repatriated planes, so not commercial airlines, and it's very, very carefully choreographed, and WHO is coordinating this with officials in the field.
I'm sure you guys have a lot of people on this because a lot of folks are, rightly worried. And remember, just a few years ago, everything we were dealing with. I don't think anyone wants to bring back masks anytime soon. So,
No.
Maria Van Kerkhove, thank you very much for joining us. Appreciate your time.
Didn't work in the
Thank
first
you.
place.
A Fox News alert, you're looking live at Nebraska, the Nebraska airport where Americans from the Hantavirus cruise ship just landed hours ago. They're going to be quarantined and monitored as U.S. officials are expected to hold a press conference later today on the outbreak. We now know one American has tested positive for the disease. Another is showing symptoms. All as a French passenger has also now tested positive for the virus. Infectious disease physician Dr. Amish Adalja joins me now.
Amish.
Doc, do you trust this quarantine unit in Nebraska to keep the virus from spreading?
Yes, it's the best in the world. This is a place where they've taken care of COVID patients that were repatriated after the Diamond Princess. This is a place where there's a biocontainment unit nearby that took care of Ebola patients, and these are some of the top infectious disease experts in the world at Nebraska. So I do think this is something that can be contained, and I think Nebraska is a good place to start to do this work, and we'll see how this plays out. But remember, we're expecting to see cases amongst the passengers, so it's not surprising that a French passenger, an American passenger, and maybe some more will test positive. The key thing is looking for onward transmission, second generation cases, and there's no evidence of that now because this virus is constrained in its ability to spread from person to person, even though it can do it.
Okay, that was the question that my esteemed co-anchor Carly asked me during the break, and I think it's a really good one. If this thing is quote-unquote not very transmissible, then why is it transmitting itself among people on this cruise ship? Or why was it?
So not very transmissible doesn't mean not transmissible at all.
Right.
And what we know is that at least of the initial 8 cases, they all seem to have had close contact with the index patient, the first patient, the man who got infected in Argentina bird watching or in one of those countries that he was bird watching in, and then got on board the ship and then transmitted it. So what we're looking to see is were people that
Bird watching. So I guess they was flapping up some mouse dookie dust and it got into his nostrils because they saying that it comes from mice. So if you're just out there doing that, then you know what I'm saying? How'd he get it?
were in less contact with this person, or were they getting infected? So this is kind of the epidemiological investigation. But I think it's important to remember that just because something is not transmissible at all doesn't mean it can't transmit. So that's
Right.
how those individuals got infected. They're all part of that initial cluster on that ship, I suspect.
And obviously, Doc, we're a little worried because you remember what happened a couple years ago, a little thing called the COVID pandemic. Everybody this weekend asking me, even though obviously not a doctor, is this COVID 2.0? Here's what the acting CDC director had to say. Listen.
Man, I have a bunch of remedies to get rid of viruses. So, I think if something does go down, I think I'm going to be good. From years and years and years of studying natural health, think of, I wouldn't say that I had got the drop on anything, but from studying so much, like I'm the type, somebody tell me they got something to be like, oh, I know what you should do. You know, like I got it right there.
This is not the COVID, Jake, and we don't want to treat it like COVID. We don't want to cause a public panic over this. We want to treat it with the hantavirus protocols that we're successful in containing outbreaks in the past.
I'm going to assume you agree, Doctor.
I do agree. You have to think about each pathogen, whatever it might be, Mpox, COVID, influenza, hantavirus, as a distinct entity. Yes, there's some overlap in the measures that you take, but they all have different biology. They all have different transmission characteristics. So not everything can be viewed through the lens of COVID-19 or the lens of a pandemic, and not everything that's a public health emergency means an epidemic risk or a pandemic risk. And I think that's kind of the danger, is that COVID-19, for good reason, conditions how people look at things. But when you look at it from an infectious disease or an epidemiological perspective, you've got to realize these are different things. One virus is very distinct from another virus. They're all not the same, and it's not all interchangeable what the playbook is.
Beyond this outbreak, Doctor, I want to focus on the hantavirus, not the Andes variant, but the general hantavirus that you can get from the waste products of a rodent. A lot of us are in spring cleaning mode right now. A lot of us are cleaning up rat waste, mice waste. Is there a concern that in the cleaning process we could aerosol?
Shit, I'm calling Lupita's cleaning service to come get that. That's what I'm doing. I ain't spring cleaning my house. You get what I'm saying? Lupita's cleaning service is coming in. Hello, senora. Okay, Lupita, this is what I need. Okay, top to bottom. Let me know the price. Spick and span. You know what I'm saying? That's it. And I even give you a tip.
Realize this and infect ourselves.
Letting the professionals handle
you
it.
warn your patients about.
Definitely. This is exactly how most people in the United States get hantavirus. They're cleaning out an old shed, they're cleaning out an attic, a basement, and they're using a broom, and they aerosolize some of those rodent droppings. And they inhale
right into your nostrils.
That might be what happened
See?
to Gene Hackman's wife, when she was infected with the fatal case in New Mexico. And this is where, like, the 20 cases that occur every year, that's largely how they happen. It's these types of exposures that occur, primarily in the southwest of the United States, but hantaviruses are in other parts of the country as well. So that's an important countermeasure to take, is that if you're cleaning something out and you think there's rodent waste there, you should probably wear a mask when you do that so you don't aerosolize it. And I've said that for a long, long time when people ask me about hantavirus. They're still rare in the United States, but that's how those cases occur.
Such an important segment in all aspects. Doctor, we appreciate you getting up this morning because I know a lot of people are talking about this. Thank you, sir.
All right. Well, there it is. Nothing to see here. Shouldn't be no problem whatsoever. But I will continue to update you if things go awry and things ain't what they seem to be or what they say it is. Understand? Oh boy, post the comments down below. Let me know what you think. The elixir's probably on the screen right now. Click it and watch it. It's not a long video and it's very beneficial. 10 million subscribers. Woo!